I'm going to just glance briefly at what some examples of high school curricula are, so you get a sense for what people are doing out there. So this one, I'm going to look at the three best, the three top-ranked virtual schools, virtual high schools in Texas. This one, Connections Academy, Aztec Creation Story. So basically this is a textbook online, language arts textbook online. You see the objectives: analyze characters in a myth, name the elements of a creation story, identify and use nouns correctly, keywords, blah, blah, blah. Those two suburban boys, they're going to read this, they're interested in sports, they're interested in, all sorts of fun things they do with their friends. They come to this, they don't care. They don't care at all. It's meaningless. It's perfectly relevant to their life. I was good at what I call memorize and forget stories. So if you look at this stuff, go to another slide. Eventually there's going to be a quiz, and at the quiz, some of us memorize and forget it, some of us ignore it. But I don't think this is meaningful to most students. And again, I'm not criticizing the education curriculum designers. This is what language class is. Let's quickly look at another example. This one is K12 education. And again, similar virtual thing. Here, compare themes and meanings between two works. Imagery can create mood, blah, 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 blah. As an adult, I don't care about this. Kids don't care about this. It's just meaningless, exercises. The kind of dialogue that resulted in, Alana comparing C.S. Lewis and the Roald Dahl is because it's real. She's having conversations with real human beings, and she becomes articulate and thoughtful. We'll do one more quickly. This is from another one. Forget what this one is called, but I'll play just a little bit video. You can see persuasion, rhetoric, and so forth. Here we've got a teacher talking.
Students were grouped in interest by superhero. They had a choice between 6, and they were given some time to work together. They also had the option to work alone if they so choose.
So, here you've got a teacher teaching you. For those of you who remember school, that's what school was. Here it's a virtual version. Later you see her actually teaching. But again, for me, as a learner, as an adult, I could not sit through this stuff. Whereas a conversation like I had with Lana, or a conversation like the one in the Bill of the Rights that Viggo Mortensen was having with his children, or the conversations I've had with thousands of kids, they love it, they're excited, they're engaged, real human interaction. Eventually I get students to the point where they can learn how to argue with each other. And as a consequence, they love learning, they love thinking, talking, arguing. They become really good at reading difficult material, because gradually we integrate the reading of difficult material into participation in the conversations. With additional training, they become great at essay writing, because we're arguing back and forth, and instead of an English teacher giving us an assignment, they've got their peers that they're going to argue with. And ultimately, if you think of, say, the powers needed to be part of a startup team in contemporary, 21st century culture, whether you're a coder, UX, UI designer, video developer, digital marketer, accountant, whatever, the kind of interaction we have in teams that are really creating the 21st century economy, people thinking, talking, arguing back and forth, that kind of real world experience, becoming articulate, thoughtful, and engaged, is so much more powerful than these canned lessons. And so as a consequence, I'd love to have a much broader conversation on what schooling is, what schooling should be, what leads to successful adult performance, what leads to social mobility,